Hello, everybody. This is Nikki from Motherhood Unfiltered is going to be okay. And today's guest is Veronica Briseño. I think I said that right. And she is a clinical skincare professional with 20 years of experience. And in 2017, she founded Let's Talk Skin, where she offers personalized guidance to help people get the best results for their money. So I'm excited to talk to her today. She's such a sweet person and she knows what she's talking about. And I will let her tell you exactly what it is that she does. But before we bring her on, I just want to remind everybody that if you're listening on the podcast, to go to Apple iTunes or Spotify and rate and review the podcast there. That lets me know how well I'm doing. And also, if you are watching on YouTube, please comment, like, and subscribe. If you've already done that, that means you're smart and you're awesome and you're one of a close friend of mine, I know. But anyway, if you haven't, please do that. If you have, then just share it with someone that you think could benefit from the conversation that we are going to have today. So, without further delay, here is Veronica. Hi,
Hi there.
Veronica.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being a guest. And I'm so excited that I know you're new to Podmatch, but when I saw your profile pop up on mine, I was like, yes, I want to talk about skincare because for someone like me, I'm having some issues. Um, I usually didn't have any problems, but it seems like in the last year or so, my skin has dramatically changed. And so I definitely need help. But so tell us what you do and how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, I've been doing skincare for 20 years. A lot of people ask me, like, how is that possible? You you don't seem that old. But they're partly correct. I actually started doing skincare at a very young age, at 15. And that's
Mm-hmm.
because my mom is also a medical skincare professional. So I
Mm-hmm.
literally grew up in the industry. By the time I was 15, she had hired me to work in her medical spa and help her run her medical skincare clinic. And then I went on to get my esthetician license. And about 10 years ago, I started teaching and training full time. And since then, I've spent the past 10 years training other skincare professionals all over the world, working for some skincare brands that I'm sure you probably have heard of, and really just honing my skills as a medical skincare professional. The first 10 years of my career were spent, hands-on in practice. And then the last 10 years of my career has been spent teaching. Uh, Recently, I have noticed how often I hear from people that they feel overwhelmed and confused and intimidated by all of the
Yeah.
skincare options being advertised to them. And this really, having this conversation over and over again really inspired me
Mm-hmm.
to transition what was a training and consulting business of mine
Mm-hmm.
into a business that helps people navigate the medical skincare industry, and identify their concerns, and then understand what options are best for them based on their
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle and budget. And we really work together to help clarify those things, and so they can understand and make really informed decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that are backed by science and can really deliver them the results that they're looking for. So that's what I'm doing now. That kind of brings me to today. I am just about to launch my brand new business called Let's Talk Skin. And that what I just explained, that's what I do. I help
Mhm.
people really understand their options and make informed decisions. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here, and we can definitely talk about some of your skin concerns. I'm happy to
I
do
mean,
that.
yeah, I mean, growing up, I remember seeing like my grandma have Pond's,
Yeah.
POND, the cold cream. I mean,
Yes.
that's all she used other than soap, and now, or I would see Olay, and now there's just so much out there. And I just don't know where to start. Before I would, growing up, I had to go to the doctor to get medication because I was just so broken out with acne. But and then it went away, and then in my early adult years it came back. Well, now I don't have that problem. I feel like I got crusty skin, and I'm like, how does this even happen?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Um, unfortunately, that is something that we all suffer from crusty skin from time to time.
I know that's probably not the right
Yeah.
term for it,
No,
but that's what
actually,
it
it's a
feels
medical term.
like.
No, I understand what you're saying. And yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to start the conversation. So what I really like to do when I'm consulting with people is just understand their main priorities. So, in your
Mhm,
case, maybe understanding that maybe it's like the texture of your skin. Maybe that's a way that we could describe it, the texture of your
mhm,
skin, or maybe some dehydration. I
mhm.
don't want to put words in your mouth, but
Oh,
um,
no, that's what it feels like.
Sure. And then what we would do is just work together. So I would do a full skin analysis to
Mhm,
understand things like, what kinds of things are you already doing or have you done before, or
mhm,
would you consider doing? What kind of lifestyle activities would inform some of my recommendations? Just
mhm,
understanding a little bit more about your skin type, and
mhm,
where some of these conditions may have come from. For instance, some skin conditions are kind of cumulative, like sun damage. Some people have sunspots or sun damage, and that
mhm.
comes from repetitive, for instance, like tanning. Um,
Right.
so just understanding some of these like lifestyle, skin history things, and also things like how what are customers' willingness to do certain procedures or treatments. Some
Mhm.
people are really interested in things, and some people are like, what, I just am kind of interested in what I can do at home. So I really
Right.
meet people with wherever they're at, because my goal is to really, I don't want to sound redundant, but just to help people understand what their options
Mhm,
are, in a
mhm,
really unbiased way. Because one thing that I hear so often is that people, they see something being advertised by like an influencer online, or maybe even a really reputable
mhm,
dermatologist or skincare clinic, but they're unsure if that treatment or product would be right for them,
mhm.
or because it's not a personal recommendation, and also it's not an unbiased recommendation, because that
Yeah.
person is incentivized to
Mhm,
recommend what they carry,
mhm.
which isn't always bad. A lot of people carry some
Right,
really great things, but
right.
all this to say, the work that we could do together is really personalized, and I don't work for a company, and I'm just really going
Mhm,
based on my experience,
mhm.
and understanding these things, and educating people on the options that they have.
Yeah, I can definitely see where that would be most helpful. Especially, there's people I watch online and I love them. I love watching their videos, and then they
Mhm.
offer something and I'm like, is that, should I try that out? But some of it's pricey, some of it's not, but you just don't ever know. And another thing I wanted to ask about, so I know I'm talking about, I refer to my face, but basically it's the whole body because the skin is the whole your biggest
Exactly.
organ. So I mean, I'm not just having trouble, someone may not just be having trouble on their face. They could be having trouble in other areas of their body, and could those like be related? Like if something starts like on my leg and then I see it up on my face. So, I mean, how would you navigate that? So I guess you would go back to lifestyle. What are you doing? And find
Absolutely. I
out.
mean,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, as you said, you're doing part of my job for me, so bravo.
Sorry.
um, no. I mean, in terms of, a lot of people don't think about the skin is their largest organ. They don't really think
Yeah.
about it like that.
Mhm.
But you're absolutely right. And so I usually do spend some time talking about the skin on the
Mhm.
body, because sometimes it's not people's top priority. So of course first I'm going to address their priority, and for some
Mhm.
people that's just kind of like from the shoulders up.
Mhm.
But s- and sometimes it's just purely cosmetic. They just want their
Mhm.
skin to be more even on their face. But
Mhm.
other people, just as you said, maybe it's a skin condition like eczema or
Mhm.
psoriasis that they're struggling with, and that is not isolated to
Mhm.
the neck and above. That's full
Right.
body, and that's something that I have a
Right.
lot of experience in in treating and working with people on. So it really just goes back to really understanding what people's concerns are,
Mhm.
and obviously lending my expertise if it's something that I can lend them, and then
Mhm.
also referring them out or giving them the best option for other options
Mhm.
if it's not something that I can help with. But
Right.
all that to say, absolutely, we there's so much work that we can do for the body. And also, it's not just skin conditions that affect the body, it's also cosmetic as well. People don't like the
Mhm.
sunspots on their arms. Also, the backs of their hands tell, people say that, oh, it gives my age away. I've had facials on, or and things done on
Yeah.
my face, but my neck gives my age away, or the back of my hands, or my arms are crepey, my knees
Yeah.
are saggy. All of those things, the skin is all over our
Mhm.
bodies, and there's
Mhm.
something that I usually can offer,
Right.
no matter what people's concerns are.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really catch that, um, if something affected my face, it's probably someplace else on my body too. And the only reason why I didn't know about that was because a few years ago, I had some kind of a skin condition. I still have it, but it gets better. And it's just a rash that comes up. And what I found out, it's from skin touching skin. So when
Dermatitis?
you're, not that, but it's from poop. I think that's what they diagnose it as, but it's more like people who are overweight and their skin gets
Oh, I
hot and
see.
moist,
Skin. Sure,
and
sure,
it causes like a yeast infection.
sure. Yes.
So that's what I struggle from. I don't remember what it's called, but anyway, I think it starts with an I. But anyway, so if I'm eating too much bread, processed
Mhm.
foods, um, foods that have yeast and stuff in it, that aggravates that.
Sure.
And I have to cut back on pastas and breads and flours and all of that stuff. I mean, that's almost
Exactly.
like a death sentence. Have to get to eat those breads.
Yeah,
But
it's brutal.
anyway, so
Yeah.
that is like a very visual thing that I see with myself that affects my skin,
Yes.
and I just, I don't think people realize, like you said, that it's, one big organ, and that what you put in is definitely what comes out, good or bad, you know.
Absolutely. There's a lot of factors, and this is part of the education that I do with
Mhm.
my clients, is that there are very likely a number
Mhm.
of factors that are affecting whatever condition is manifesting.
Mhm.
Um, And in your case, you just explained, a type of inflammation that's
Mhm.
manifesting in the skin, that's happening inside the body and manifesting in the
Mhm.
skin. And, sometimes those factors are environmental combined with,
Mhm.
internal inflammation combined with topical stimulants. It can be a
Mhm.
really complex system. So it's really trying to, identify as many of those things as we can and
Mhm.
understand that kind of ties in the
Mhm.
lifestyle
Right.
element of it, and really, addressing it in a way that's really practical and,
Mhm.
to somebody's lifestyle budget,
Mhm.
and that will address their concerns.
So if somebody is they're like, okay, Veronica, what can I do at home to help my situation? I mean, I know I'm not going to get rid of my 8 spots, by putting lemon oil juice on my
Yeah.
face, but is there
Yeah.
something I can do at home for certain
Yes.
things?
Yes. Um, I'm going to sound like every skincare professional that you have probably ever heard online and wherever. The most impactful thing that people can do at home on a daily basis is
Uh-huh.
protect themselves from the sun. It really is. And it sounds so, it's so done, it's everybody says it. But I just want to give a couple of examples that maybe people
Mhm.
don't know, because people are like, oh yeah, okay, so I put on sunblock when it's, sunny outside. Okay, got it, done.
Mhm.
But it's actually more than that.
Mhm.
So I think one thing people don't realize, especially in our day and age of working from home,
Mhm.
I've seen an increase in this, is people have home offices and they've usually set themselves up in a room with a window because, why not? And you wake up, you have your breakfast, you get to work, and you don't always wash your face and put your, sunscreen on unless you like have
Mhm.
a meeting or you're going to go somewhere. All this to
Right.
say, UVA rays, which is the most damaging of the UV rays, is
Mhm.
UVA. It penetrates through windows and it penetrates through clouds. So it doesn't matter if
Mm.
it's a cloudy day. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if you're indoors. If it is light outside and you are benefiting from that sunlight, you are getting UV radiation. And
Mm.
and people don't always, think about that. So
Mm-mm.
all what my recommendation isn't just to, protect yourself from the sun. I like to tell people, give some concrete examples.
Mhm.
Wear sunblock, um, preferably with preferably a mineral sunblock, um,
Mhm.
365 days a year, whether it's raining or shining.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really is the best thing that you can be doing to prevent against future damage of your skin.
Mhm.
And then another thing I would say is your makeup doesn't count. So mix people love to say, "Oh, there's sunblock in my makeup." Don't count your makeup. Add a sunblock to your makeup. Wear a
Mhm.
hat when you're outside. Protect
Mhm.
yourself from the sun,
Mhm.
and preferably move your desk away from the window.
I can almost hear in my mind, yes, mom, okay.
Yeah,
I'll put
I
it
know.
on. But I mean, when I was younger, I tanned. I would go to the tanning
Mhm,
bed and I'm like, well, I'm helping myself so I don't get burned. But
mhm.
now that I'm older, I I mean, like, I find the highest SPF to put on if I'm going to be out in the sun for any period of time. And I'm finding that that doesn't even help sometimes. Like I have 100 SPF on and I will still get burned, and
Yes.
it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that for just a minute, because this is actually
Hmm.
a fantastic point. I'm glad you brought this up because this is a very common issue that people have with sun
Mhm.
protections. So I think one of the biggest issues with sun protections is that they put an SPF, sun protection factor number. That gives
Mhm.
people the impression that the higher the number, the better the protection. That's actually not the case. People should
Oh
not,
gosh.
the number unfortunately is not the most important factor. The ingredients are the most important factor. There's two things.
Oh,
One is the
okay.
ingredients, and the second is your reapplication, how often you reapply it. So
Gotcha.
what happens is if you're wearing a 100 SPF, that
Mhm.
means that that's a chemical SPF. Remember, I made the suggestion to use preferably a mineral. So there's two different types of sunblocks. There's mineral and there's chemical. Or I'm sorry, physical and chemical.
Mhm.
Um, so uh, if you're using a SPF 100, that means it's a chemical. And
Mhm.
they actually break down, chemical sunblocks break down in the sun more quickly than minerals.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so if what it does is it gives people a false sense of protection when they have an SPF 100 on that, oh my gosh, I'm good. I've got an SPF 100 on. So what happens is they don't reapply and they're out in the sun for longer and they just have
Mhm.
this false sense of protection. In
Mhm.
reality, it would be so much better to use an SPF 30 that is a mineral and reapply it after 2 hours and you would not burn, or you would very likely not burn. So it
Wow.
is
Okay.
that kind of, just very practical education about the fact that, look for these ingredients, know what your options are. These are the situations where, one is better than the other.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that is why people get burned with high
Oh
SPFs.
gosh. Well, what about spray? What about spray sunscreen? I
Yes,
don't care for that. I feel like it doesn't work as well.
it doesn't. And the reason is it's not the ingredients. Usually it's just because it doesn't apply as well. People
Mhm.
don't apply it the way that they should. If you're applying a spray sunscreen, what you should do is hold it almost all the way against your body to apply it and then rub it
Yeah.
in. But what
Gotcha.
people do is they hold it like, 6 to 8 inches away from their body. And we all have this image of our mind of people like applying it and the wind is just taking it away. They're not even getting it
Yeah.
on their body. So
Right.
it's just not ever going to be as effective because
Mhm.
the application does not lend itself to, great protection.
Okay, that I did not even know that. I mean, if I know I'm going to be out for a long period of time, I will reapply
Hmm.
the sunscreen. However, it doesn't matter. I still get burned. So, and you're saying that it's best to get a mineral based
That's
sunscreen.
correct. Get a
I I
broad
I didn't even know
spectrum.
I didn't even know they had different,
Yeah.
formulas.
Yeah, yeah, and um, gosh, we could spend a whole hour just talking about sunscreen. There's so much to say, but I'll just give the advice to your listeners that the best way to know that it's a mineral is nowadays it's pretty easy because there's this trend which is great, to
Uh-huh.
make sun protection sunscreens reef safe, for the ocean, the reef ocean. So a lot of
Oh,
them will
okay.
say right on there reef safe. And that
Oh,
means it's a
okay.
mineral. That means it's not a chemical, it's a mineral. So, and look, it's not to say that chemicals don't have their place.
Mhm. Yeah.
Chemicals are good sunscreens,
Mhm.
but and they're more cosmetically elegant. A lot of people like to use them,
Mhm.
underneath their makeup on a daily basis. They're fine,
Mhm.
but when it comes to, getting the best sun protection for those days that you're, out at the beach, you really
Mhm.
want to be using a mineral sun protection, and looking for a reef safe one
Mhm.
is the easiest way to do that. You can get it at any local pharmacy.
Wow, okay. Well, that's good to know. So what about because I work from home and of course I set my desk up right in front of a mirror. I meant the window.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's no mirror in this place. So, but Because I want to feel the sunshine. I'm like, oh, I need that vitamin D, but
Of course, yeah.
actually, I should be putting something on every day.
Exactly. It's not that you can't, and this is, people tell me, "Oh, Veronica, you're such a stickler about the sun. You never, you're always telling me not to go out in the sun." Okay, look, that may be true, but I know that that's not always, not everybody, people love the sun. I get it.
Yeah,
We want
yeah,
to be, I grew up in Michigan where, we did not get a lot of sunny days except for in a very short period of time in the
right.
summer, and people were going to go out and
Yes,
enjoy it. There was
yes,
nothing that I could say to them about any skincare benefit that was going to keep them from going out on their boat and enjoying the sun, which is
right,
fine.
right,
So, what I suggest is just doing the proper things to protect your skin so
right,
that you can enjoy it without damaging your skin and causing,
right.
long term, uh, damage
Right.
that you're not gonna be happy about later. So, what that means is we've already talked about sun protection. I would say, maybe do like half of the day. This is advice for you. If you wanted to, you could do like half of the day with your window open or with your
Mhm,
blinds open, half the day with your
mhm,
blinds shut.
mhm,
Or, just leave your blinds open, but, make sure you
mhm.
reapply your sun protection.
Yeah.
Um, and then another thing that is something that I very often talk to my clients about is ways that you can improve the protection of even your sun protection. So there's ingredients that you can incorporate into your skincare regimen that
Uh-huh,
add another layer of environmental protection and keep your skin from being damaged. So
uh-huh.
there's, some really great ingredients out there that people can incorporate into their regimen to make sure that, whatever lifestyle activity they're partaking in, that their skin is protected.
Right. Well, that sounds like good advice. I think I can manage, maybe part of the day with the blinds closed. But, right now I'm looking and my cats are laying in front of the window,
Yeah.
but they're covered with fur. So,
They got fur. Yes. They're essentially wearing a full body hat, um,
so
another
I'm
thing that
thinking like, when are they going to have like clothing that are UVA,
they do.
resistant?
They do.
Oh, they
Yeah,
do. Oh my God.
absolutely.
Where
I
have
own
I
a bunch of
been?
it. Yeah, you'll see it at a lot of, I mean, you can just Google it. It's all over Amazon. It's
Oh.
great. There's some really great different clothing items,
Uh-huh.
hats that have sun protection built in, gloves that have sun protection built in for like, people who are driving, because that's a really
Uh-huh.
common source of sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just one other thing that I thought of too about your
Uh-huh.
desk in front of the window that I just wanted to mention is maybe just closing your blinds during the period of the day if you're getting direct sun coming
Oh,
in,
yeah.
maybe just
Yeah.
closing the blinds. And then when you're not getting direct sun, it's not that you're still not, you're still
Mhm.
getting UVA rays.
Mhm.
Because like I
Just
said,
not as strong.
just not as strong. Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe that's just another way to minimize the damage.
Oh, I can definitely do that. That's the easy thing to do. So, I know we kinda got stuck on the sunscreen
Yeah.
segment.
Sorry, that's probably my fault. If there's anything I want to talk about, it's that people
Veronica's
should.
friends are like, "Oh my gosh, she's talking about it again."
I know people are like, don't get her talking about the sun. She won't stop.
It's okay. It's all good. But so, is there something else we could do? That
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best advice that I can give to people is, besides sunblock, is really to get a professional opinion,
Mhm.
just to get a
Gotcha.
professional recommendation. Um, whether that's from me or some,
Mhm.
trusted skincare professional that
Mhm.
um, because yeah, bringing all these things together, it's really hard to
Mhm.
do just over a
Mhm.
TikTok video or an Instagram video, just to make
Mhm.
like these broad recommendations that are going to be right
Yeah.
for you. So getting a professional recommendation based on your concerns,
Mhm.
it really can go a long ways. And just understanding what your options are. So that's really my
Yeah.
biggest piece of advice would be to talk to a professional.
Hmm. Well, I definitely can. I like that advice because I'm sitting here like, okay, you mean I can't go out and buy this lotion? It's going to help me. But then I thought, well, that may not be the best thing for me, or may not be the best thing for Susie Q down the street. So yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
definitely having like a consultation and just have your concerns um, listed out. Then you can just let them know, hey, um, I have crusty skin. you
Yes.
know
And then they can get to the bottom of it.
I'm like, so how
Yes.
much oil can I use on my face?
Right. Right.
So
But you're
anyway.
absolutely right. I mean, so much of, what, my part of my goal is to really keep people
Mhm.
from wasting their time and their money on things
Mhm.
that don't work or aren't right
Yeah,
for them. Because it's
right.
so easy to see something that's working for somebody else and think, oh,
Mhm.
that's what I need or that's what I want.
Mhm.
And look, you might get really lucky and it might be exactly the thing that changes your skin and addresses your
Right,
concerns. And that would be
right.
amazing. But oftentimes it takes a little bit more customization and,
Mhm.
yeah, and just expertise to
Mhm.
really address somebody's concerns in the best way. So that's what speaking to a professional can do.
Well, Veronica, I do appreciate you talking to us about this, even if we had to hear about the sunscreen lecture all over again. But it is important because I am someone who I never wore sunscreen growing up, and now and I had freckles, and now they're like, it's like they're moving, they're connecting
Mhm.
together, and I get these big H spots, and I'm like, I think freckles are cute. Well, H spots aren't cute, so so how can someone get a hold of you if they want to reach out about their skin issues that they're having?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram
Mhm.
is Let's Talk Skin Official. My website is letstalkskin.com. And you can also
Mhm.
feel free to email me. My email is
Mhm.
veronica@letstalkskin.com. So, yeah, you should be able to find me via those channels. And I would be happy to, talk skin with anybody listening.
Well, thank you, Veronica, and I do appreciate you coming on, and I hope that sometime in the future we can talk again.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that very much.